So here we have it with some clothes on. So I got the tailpiece on. That went on relatively easily. We do have a bit of an issue there where it's touching the frame, but too late to do it now, Eric, because you painted it all without putting it together. So there you go. Now, if you remember those carb bell mouths, which I fucked up and removed the black anodizing dye in the ultrasonic bath, that is them. So what I did is I got hold of some caustic soda, made up a strong mix of caustic soda, and a high alkalinity will take anodizing off aluminium. It will eventually start corroding the aluminium, but you just got to keep an eye on it. So that's what I did, and then gave it a bit of a polish, fitted it back on, and just fits in the frame. And on this side it actually touches the side panel, but too late to do anything about that because you painted it. Other things of note are the exhaust, and that's the mounting bracket, and that just behind the gear lever is the bracket for mounting of said exhaust. So yeah, that's fucking miles off, isn't it? So I'm not going to do anything about that at the moment. A couple of reasons. One is that it'll be a prick to change it. That's not stainless steel, that is chrome plated, or maybe nickel plated, but I think chrome plated mild steel. So first of all, you would have to strip all the chrome plating off. Then you would have to cut that bracket off, reposition it down there, weld it back on, and then get the whole thing polished, copper plated, nickel plated, chrome plated, etc, etc. A lot of faff. I wish it was stainless because I could just do all that by myself, because my MIG is stainless compatible, and I have welded stainless with it, and it does quite a nice job. It's not a TIG, but still. So that's that. So the other reason I'm not going to do anything is because I want to fit the fairings to see if there's going to be a interference down here between the fairing and the exhausts, and I would say that might be fairly likely. And every picture I've ever seen of a TT1 or a TT2 has a cutout in the fairing lower for where the exhaust contacts it, and the fairing that he's had painted does not have a cutout. So we'll see if I actually do get that modified or not. It's a bit of a faff to get it modified. I'm doubting I will do that at the moment. Tank, I've got that sitting quite nicely now with the tailpiece. So the tailpiece seat goes on first, and then the tank is screwed to the top, and everything seems to line up. I had my doubts earlier, but no, it actually does. So front brakes on, calipers on. I've already pre-fitted those ages ago. Rear brake on with torque arm. I'm going to engine mount. Now it's difficult to look at this properly being in the garage like it is, but this bike looks very low on the rear end, which is telling me that my shock is not long enough. Now I know it's probably still high on the front end. It does look a bit high on the front end. Difficult to tell in the garage. I'm going to have to wait for some decent weather and get it outside and have a look at it from a distance. But what I'm going to do in between then is I'm going to take all this bodywork off, and this shock has a ride height adjuster, so those two nuts there, you can see basically you undo those and you can wind some shock up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to support the bike underneath the engine. I'll do that with a jack and some boxes and some timbers like I've done here. So if you look, the rear tyre is on this stand, it's actually contacting the ground, it's just on the ground. So this stand isn't tall enough anyway, but I'm going to have to get another stand for this bike. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it supported on the engine so the rear wheel is just hanging up in the air, and then I will be able to take that shock lower mount out there and wind that shock ride height out as far as I can go, to jack this back end up. And then once I've done that, I can adjust the front end to suit. But I reckon this bike is way too low at the moment. Just from its attitude, I'll try and get some distance from it, but you can just see the back end is arse down by quite an angle. The camera's not really showing it up as much as the naked eye does, but that top surface there, with the bike standing on its own wheels under its own weight, should be horizontal, and it is quite a way off horizontal. I would say that's getting on for about 5 degrees, something like that. So I'm going to have to jack that back end up as far as I physically can, and then drop the front as well. That front can be dropped a long way. That can go a long way down. I've seen lots of TTs with these Marzocchi forks with a good 3 inches sticking through the top yoke, to give you an idea. But yes, looks going to be a nice little bike. It's amazing how small it is. It is absolutely tiny. I mean, okay, the P&M looks big, but even the P&M is a very small bike for a 1170 Kawasaki. But yeah, it is a very diminutive little bike. Probably fit someone 6 foot maybe on it at a struggle, because the seat is a fair way back. There's a fair bit of arse room there. But yeah, thing of beauty, I reckon. That's the front fairing bracket I've put on. So this disc here is to mount a tachometer. This bracket is for a oil cooler. Not running an oil cooler on this because I haven't really got it in the budget to do that, and there's more important things to do, and as I keep on saying, be up to new owner to do that. Tank needs a bit of work, so I need to make a gasket. So there's no gasket, which is great. You'd think they'd supply a gasket, wouldn't you? But I can't find one, so I've got some EPDM rubber which I can make a gasket out of. Cut that out and then put some fasteners in to hold it in. The old man, he had fucking snack bites, nibbles, whatever his fucking name is, paint some fucking screws. I mean, for God's sake, you know, painting screws never fucking works. So yeah, they're trash. You can buy anodized red screws if you really want to, but I will see what I've got in my stock, basically, of fasteners. But yeah, you can probably see from here that arse end is right down. It's I would even question whether that shock is the correct length. If I can't get enough arse height, I might have to get in contact with Nitron, the shock manufacturers, and see if they can supply a longer threaded part for the shock, and if they don't, I will design one and make one up and get this friggin' thing jacked right up. I mean, you can see there, I mean that rear seat should be above the top of that tyre, so it's got to go up a fair way. In my opinion, it's all a bit saggy. None of that, of course, is going to help the chain clearance on the top of the swing arm. It's going to make it worse. The only possibly remedy I can see for that, just thinking out loud, is to put a larger front sprocket on. But if you have a look, you can't go much larger, I'm telling you. You might get 2 teeth, so that's a 15 tooth. Maybe we'll get a 17 tooth in, which will lift that top chain run up. But if I jack the rear end up, the angle of that swing arm is going to increase and make that more of a collision spot. And I can't see in Red Fox's catalogue anywhere any plastic chain runners or rubber chain runners or anything that fit on that swing arm. So God knows what's supposed to go